I'm Plami, and welcome to Plami's Thoughts On. I actually don't really have much to say about this. I got into this episode in a little bit of a bad mood after watching the penultimate episode of the 11th season of the main Walking Dead show, so I was already kind of like in a bad mood. And I don't think this episode was bad or anything, but I definitely didn't really feel better after watching it, after getting pissed off by that episode of the main show. And again, I can't really put that against this show and this episode because they are still separate shows, but yeah, I wasn't really that satisfied with this episode. And it's because even certain things that I actually enjoyed about last season, that I thought were engaging last season, were kinda boring this season. Like, for example, in one of the opening scenes where we have General Kublek supposedly taking Hope back to their base, which I'm still a little bit confused about, but I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. But they take a detour to some place in New York or something, and she kind of has a little bit of a monologue explaining about why Hope was led onto this journey to get to this place instead of just simply taking her or something along those lines. And it was fine, but I feel like it was maybe a little bit too long. I feel like they could have condensed what they were trying to say a little bit and it would have been just fine. Because ultimately she says that the point of this journey was that she had to see how dark and destructive the world has become at this point, so she would be willing to willingly work with the CRM to make this world better. And that was fine, but since she is still not completely sold onto the CRM, Hope is forced into the city where they landed, like in some part of New York or something, to fend off on her own until she is ready to be taken by the CRM. Again, essentially just a continuation of what she was going through. She was supposed to be going through until this point on the journey to New York. And she is led to go around. She ends up fighting off a walker, which pushes her down the stairs. She hits her head. She hallucinates. Something that I've gotten a little bit tired of the Walking Dead lately, of the Walking Dead universe doing lately, but what can you do? It was fine. It's what happened afterwards that was a little annoying and kind of confusing, and I still don't know whether it actually happened or not. Which is that she's in some kind of like a school or something, and she sees a picture of some student who has gone missing or something, and then I think she hallucinates meeting a deranged version of that student who attacks her, and she gets eaten by zombies. And I think it's a hallucination because afterwards she is nowhere to be seen, even if she's a walker and she has ended up turning, she should still be around, but I'm pretty sure she's not, so I think it was a hallucination. And I don't really get what the hallucination was going for, but that's kind of what you get with Gimpo speak. It's a whole lot of nothing trying to sound like a whole lot of something. So yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what they were trying to do with that scene. At least I just don't get it at this point in time. But it was fine. So finally Hope decides to join back with them. And later on in the episode she actually explains that the reason she went back to the CRM is not because she actually started believing and she wanted to help them or something, but because they were her ticket to survival. That's the most likely way she would have survived, so that's why she went back to them. And General Kublek also ends up revealing to Huck and Hope that the campus colony of Omaha has been destroyed, but we are also told that the main Omaha colony was destroyed by what they call a colon, which is, I guess, an even bigger version of a herd, which I believe the episode says like 100,000 walkers big. But we're obviously shown that the CRM were the one who destroyed the walls and led the walkers. And honestly, like, I get it. The CRM destroys these places, and it's supposed to be bad or anything and everything, but I feel like the numbers of both the communities being destroyed and the walker herd is a little bit too big to the point that it becomes kind of over the top. Especially when you compare it to the issues that the main show and Fear the Walking Dead are dealing with. And remember, the Walking Dead main show is a few years ahead at this point. It's like a year or two ahead, because this show is still in 2020, while The Walking Dead is like 2021, 2022. While Fear the Walking Dead is still all the way back in 2013. And it really feels kind of weird when you think about it, because the main show is actually also very close to these locations that the CRM is working at, and they haven't fucking noticed in any way, shape, or form 100,000 walker big herd. I mean, what? And also, with the Fear the Walking Dead, the little bits and pieces that we've gotten from the CRM, I mean, it's not enough to really judge whether it feels like it doesn't fit with the rest of the universe, but it feels weird how the CRM hasn't changed at all in 7 years. Because, as I said, Fear the Walking Dead is in 2013, World Beyond is in 2020, and the main show is in 2022. It's kind of a little weird. But yeah, it's revealed that they ended up destroying Omaha as well. But again, it's just so fucking over the top. Like, why would you do that? I'm really curious to see where they're going to take this season of this show and how it's going to end, because right now, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm really curious how they're going to wrap it up. Yeah, 100,000 strong, because like both the community and the herd are like 100,000 strong, and the CRM was only like a alliance of the three, aka the CRM, the Civic Republic, Omaha, which is like 100,000 strong, and Portland, I think it was the other one. So what, for the finale we're gonna see Portland get destroyed as well? Like, I don't get it. And where the fuck is Rick in all of this? That's even better question, honestly. Okay, so throughout this episode, I guess we are kind of seeing things also from the perspective of Iris and Felix, who, if you remember from last season, if you watched it, they were left alive by Huck and told to go to a certain place nearby where they could survive or something. I don't remember exactly, but something along those lines was. And then at the end of the season, they ended up meeting Will. So in this episode, we are introduced to the community that Will is living in at the moment, because after questioning the CRM for information about the campus colony and pushing too hard, he ends up being taken out by the CRM and be prepared to be murdered, but he and a friend of his escape. His friend ends up dying, but he survives, and he's taken in by this community called the Perimeter, who I honestly liked the most out of anything in this episode, and also the second episode, for quite a few reasons actually. One, because they seem to be like a more interesting and better version of the trash people from the main show from like season 7. Because just like the trash people, they're like an art community who is surviving in the zombie apocalypse, who is also dealing with the CRM. And this also kind of explained to us exactly what the deal with the trash people was, because we had them be these weird people who talked in a weird language, who lived in the trash heaps, and who had hidden bunkers? Now it all makes sense. Because in this episode, it's explained that the Perimeter is this kind of like a small community that is nearby a CRM facility. And what the CRM does is they give supplies to this community to push people away from this facility and essentially protect it. And in exchange, the CRM doesn't do anything, doesn't attack them, doesn't bother them. And I like that aspect. But also, I really like how it kind of gives me some Fear the Walking Dead Season 3 vibes. Which, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Fear the Walking Dead Season 3, so that's always a plus in my eyes. Although that, now that I'm reminded tonally of Fear the Walking Dead Season 3, I'm kind of feeling sad again about the fact that we never really got to see that story develop now, did we? But yeah, so this community is okay in taking in Felix and Iris as well, because they obviously don't have anywhere else to stay. And I also really like the leaders of these communities, who, I don't know who the actors are. The woman Indira is very familiar to me, so I probably should have checked what she has been in so I could tell you guys. I'll probably do that and put it in the video if I don't forget. But she seems very familiar, and I think I've seen her somewhere before, but I don't remember where. And similarly for the guy, but I don't know where I've seen him as much. But I really like this community, and I'm curious what kind of role is this community actually gonna play in this season, other than just a place they're staying in. So yeah, there's actually not much plot to go around in this episode, shockingly. But yeah, at the end of the episode, I mean, throughout the episode, Iris is having these nightmares of a CRM soldier being under the zombie skin. And by the way, this is kind of a spoilerish thing about episode 2, but it's just like another scene in which we have a CRM soldier in Iris's imagination being hidden under the zombie skin. And the thing that pisses me off, and I really got fucking pissed after watching the second episode, because I have seen it at this point, but I really got fucking pissed off because that shot of that zombie removing of that CRM soldier showing himself from under the skin of a walker, it's the exact same fucking shot we had in the trailer. So that's what it was. Trailer bait. And I'm so fucking pissed about that, because I was super excited about finding out that the CRM soldiers were hiding as walkers. Like, how cool a battle with CRM soldiers doing that would have been. It's like a very interesting variations of the Whisperers. Maybe they have seen the Whisperers at some point. It could have been cool and way to tie in with the main show. But no, now it's just in Iris's dumb imagination. And all that leads to is the fact that at the end of the episode, Iris ends up killing one of the CRM soldiers, which is her first human kill. And honestly, I know some people are gonna complain, oh, it's not realistic that she took out the CRM soldier, but I think the way she took him out is for the most part pretty realistic. Like, she wasn't able to overpower him super quickly or anything. She had some trouble with him, but she surprised him, and just through sheer will and body weight, I guess, ended up overpowering him and killing him. And that's kind of how the episode ends, with her killing him. So yeah, not much to talk about when it comes to plot in this episode, so I honestly don't really know how to rate it. It was fine, but it just didn't give me cool moments. Like, that's all I want. I want to be entertained and have cool moments. Like I said in my last review, in which I reviewed the mid-season finale for the main show's 11th season, I just didn't get any moment from this episode that I was excited to see people react to. And that to me speaks that the episode wasn't that great. Like, maybe it's fine. Maybe on rewatch it's gonna be fine. But, like, I don't think there's anything it's gonna hurt it if they have some really cool moments. in the episodes, and there wasn't really any, unlike the main show, which at least had a couple of interesting moments in each of these 2 episodes, but this one had nothing. It literally had nothing. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. That's pretty much it. I know this is a little bit of a short review, but that's kind of how I feel about this episode. There's not much to talk about. It's slow, just like the first few episodes of the first season were, and there just wasn't that much plot. I feel like episode 2 was a little better in terms of plot, but still not that great. So again, that's why I'm curious where exactly they're gonna go with the story and finish it off in this season, because this is the final season of this show. So how are they gonna wrap it all up in this season? I don't get it. Yeah, in terms of a rating, I think I'm going to give it a solid 7.1 out of 10. As I said, it's fine. I just, my opinion of it has definitely been swayed a little bit by the issue that I had with the main show, because I watched it right after, so it's been spoiled by that. And I feel like if I rewatch it, I'll probably enjoy it more. I definitely think it's better than the first 5 episodes of the first season, but I'm still not completely engaged into it, you know? But yeah, what did you guys think about this episode? Make sure to comment down below and let's have a discussion about it. And yeah, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge thanks to my currently one and only patron on Patreon, Omari Bridgman. If you want to join that person in supporting me, you can do that both on Patreon and on my recently created Ko-fi account, which, for those of you who don't know what Ko-fi is, it's a website very similar to Patreon, in the sense that you can support your favorite creators over there. The main difference being that on Patreon, it's more of like for like long-term support, while for Ko-fi, it's more for like one-time donation kind of thing. Although I think I'll start offering the long-term support on Ko-fi as well, but I'll first wait for somebody to want to do that, because right now I feel like it's just unnecessary, because almost nobody is gonna go to Ko-fi for that because it's already available for Patreon. So yeah, it's up to you which website you want to support me through. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to Patreon where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!